Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, scholars and dignitaries, welcome to another episode. Welcome to my world. Hello, friends. So I have some very good news. Well, it's somewhat mixed, but overall to you and me and to our children, this is excellent news. War is in decline and has been now for some years. Yes, colonialism and imperialism, two of the most important underlying factors of war, are themselves dying out. And it seems as if capitalism itself is having a unifying power that places profit over general animosity. And in this case, it's a good thing. Of course, there are many other political and cultural issues that continue to haunt countries, such as lack of food or resources, class differences, and ideological diversities like strange definitions of justice and equity, self interest, and of course, national interest, some of which countries will never let go of. But yes, a major decline in war would be cause for celebration, and yes, we should celebrate it, but to declare total victory over war is, at least at this time, premature. In essence, warfare has gone from accounting for 15% of human fatalities over the past several millennia to 3% of human fatalities, and high intensity conflicts, those that cause at least 1,000 battle deaths, have themselves most certainly decreased. Meanwhile, of course, there is some bad news. It seems that low intensity conflicts and local civil strife has increased to some degree, but these conflicts are waged more so between non state actors such as political groups, criminal groups, and international terrorist groups. This isn't to say that they aren't deadly or horrific, but they tend to be more localized and short lived. For instance, take a look at the genocide in Rwanda in 1994, where the Hutus targeted the Tutsis and about 800,000 people were killed in only about 100 days. Literally, the rivers ran red with blood. This was an abomination of the highest form and was really about class and racism, even among members of the same race, class, and country. And the level of pain and anguish and death was such that few others have ever seen. Anyway, yes, while we have not as yet achieved peace, there has been a historical and significant decline in war and battles and a much needed improvement towards the overall goal of world peace that so many of us have been hoping and praying for. So, examining the number of war deaths since World War II, a number of scholars have concluded that war is indeed declining, and the trend appears particularly striking when battle deaths are shown as a proportion of the overall population. There has never been a time in recorded human history where everyone was at peace worldwide. However, on a per capita basis, we are currently enjoying the most peaceful era in human history by a fairly large margin. Fewer people are dying of war and in fewer places on the globe than ever before. Now, estimates for the total number killed in wars throughout all of human history ranges from between 150 million to 1 billion people. And again, war has tragic, horrendous effects on people and countries: loss of human life, disease, poverty, fear, loss of natural resources, famine, water shortage, psychological harm and mental illness, physical injuries and loss of limbs, loss of homes, schools, churches, and businesses, displacement of people, destruction of the environment, economic losses, poverty, homelessness, unnecessary hardships, and anguish, pain, and despair, more than anyone should ever have to go through. You know, I heard one statement once that haunted me because it made more sense about war than anything I've ever heard. The people that were affected the most, the average family that suffered day and night because of the war, had no interest in the politics either way. They had no vested interest in war. They didn't want war. They only wanted to work and support their families and live in peace. But they were caught up in the politics of the high and powerful. They just wanted to be left alone, and they were victims, pawns in an ideological power play. According to Will and Ariel Durant in their Lessons of History, there have been about 268 scattered years without any war over the past 3,400 years. That's not a good record, but maybe now we're on the right path. And certainly, I think we can all agree that even 1 year without war is not only desirable, but is highly desirable and can lead into a decade or even decades of peace. Now, there is a caveat to all of this. The Doomsday Clock is a design that warns the public about how close we are to destroying our world with dangerous technologies of our own making. It's a metaphor, a reminder of the perils we must address if we are to survive on this planet. When the Doomsday Clock was created in 1947, the greatest danger to humanity came from war, especially nuclear weapons, in particular from the prospect that the United States and the Soviet Union were headed for a nuclear arms race. Today, it really seems that we have less to fear from the superpowers of Russia or China, but there are now many countries with a nuclear strike capability, including third world countries. They may not have the most stable governments in office. So the Doomsday Clock has been reset 24 times since its debut in 1947, most recently in 2020 when it moved from 2 minutes to midnight to 100 seconds to midnight because of a greater fear of war between the superpowers, and it has not been changed back since then. Apparently, scientists and experts still feel that a war among the superpowers is a real possibility, even though we have been friendly and even though we engage in business and social constructs, travel and tourism, trade for food and resources, and diplomacy and conjoint projects over these past years. Anyway, I, for one, am very happy to see this new trend, and I can only hope and pray that war will continue to decline and eventually go away entirely for the betterment of all. Hey, be safe, be well, and may God bless all people in all countries. Thank you.